Gentlemen, it is time
Oh, no.
What for exactly?
to face your destiny.
Oh, no.
Oh, cool.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Well, I'm always down to get learned on Destiny's music. That sounds fun.
Okay, well, that was unexpected. But yes, it is time for us to explore some of Destiny's many leitmotifs. Welcome to a curated guide in this episode of The Music Arcade. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Music Arcade. I am Eddie, stealing the main host chair today.
And that's funny you mentioned that. I'm Galen the Sound Guy Firestone, and one of the many things I need to fix around here is I do need a new chair.
And I'm Ronakel, and my favorite Destiny expansion is Unlimited Blade Works.
That hurts in my soul.
Yeah, didn't, I know one of the members of the community is showing it off, but didn't one of the Hoyo games get a Fate crossover?
Oh yeah, it's happening right now. I got my Saber in 20 pools. I didn't even want her, but she fell right into my lap.
You know, the funny thing is there is such a thing in Destiny called the sword logic.
I see.
A huge thing in the lore. And yes, you do see a lot of swords around when the sword logic pops up.
Ah.
That's
Lots of blades.
good. Someone has some sense.
Swords are cool, even in space, especially in space.
Something, Simon, something.
We are gonna get lightsabers soon, so that's gonna be exciting.
But yeah, the main drive of the episode is that Eddie likes his destiny, and we had a nice excuse because I believe your tattoo of one of the Destiny characters, Rasputin, is it done, or is it one step that was recently done or about to be done?
It is done, yeah. Some people listening might think this episode is made to coincide with the Edge of Fate expansion, which that's honestly just a coincidence. We've been thinking about this episode for a while now.
Yeah, this is another case where I think the can got kicked by a few months, so the timing is fortuitous, but not intended.
Yeah, it came up when Galen was away and Ren and I made the episode about Westerns. And when we were talking about themes to talk about in that episode, I ended up mentioning the tattoo I was getting of Rasputin. And we eventually thought, let's keep that theme for another episode. Let's do something else right now. But that's when the theme was first born in our conversations, let's say. But yeah,
as an aside, that's a nice tagline for Music Arcade, fortuitous but not intended.
Oh, I like that. I actually really like that. Hang on.
Yeah. Ties in with our Oracle powers, which I think are a thing in Destiny too.
Yeah, we are literally in an expansion where we are dealing with people, well, beings who can see past and future all at the same time.
I see.
And it is the beginning of the year of prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perfect for us. And a perfect occasion to start talking about The Guardian then?
Yeah, so just for context, I've made a guided listening here through some of Destiny's leitmotifs. The franchise has a ton of them, like really almost every expansion introduces a new one, and some introduce more than one.
Yeah.
I just picked 3 that I think are the most important ones to the history of the franchise. And this is kind of because we don't usually have opportunities to talk about how Destiny uses leitmotifs. I've mentioned it in passing, but we don't really have like Destiny concerts like we've had Final Fantasy concerts.
Or
live
showcase.
Sounds like it'd be a great time, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I feel like there's something here. This would probably sound pretty cool live. I wonder why there isn't an interest in that. It's not like Microsoft and Bungie aren't throwing a ton of money at the music. Well, at least were at one point. I think that's no longer the case.
I mean,
although some of the tracks in the selection definitely feel like they would fall right into the trap in the Live P concert. Where they are great by themselves, likely, but maybe not the best concert track. But with so many expansions, that's clearly enough material to get some pretty banging concert going.
Also, I need to just say I apologize. I goofed there. I meant to say Activision, not Microsoft. I am extremely tired right now because of certain events that occurred last night. So if I make these minor errors, please gently correct me. Because
you might want to add Sony to the list too, because Sony is now involved in Destiny.
Of course they are.
Because now they are a majority shareholder of Bungie.
Okay, can everyone in Honolulu with a loud engine please get out of Makiki? Because there's too many of these now.
Good Lord, usually it's here.
I've had like 4 of these in a row now.
There's a joke. I think it came from one of Bungie's former employees, but it's now kind of a gag in the community that Bungie needs publishers to save them from themselves. First Microsoft, then Activision, then Sony. No one in the Destiny fan base likes Bungie's executives.
From everything I have heard, I have a hard time disagreeing with that assessment.
Yeah, they don't seem like cool people. Anyway, going back to the episode, I said that meaning for the cutting room floor that bit.
It may stay, honestly. I feel like it's enough context and relevant to the topic.
Enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So yeah, let's drop into the music, and as a starting point, we shall start with the title screen for Destiny 1, which was also the introduction of the basic motif for the Guardian, aka the player character, which is the track Guardian.
So I have 2 notes on this. Note number 1, I know it's just an album cover. We're going to talk about the album covers a couple of times, but I know it's just an album cover, but it's still wild to see Paul McCartney's name on there. Like, I know he didn't do this track, but like, that's such a weird name to have there.
Yeah. But like, if you can legally put it there, they're probably right to put it right in the center.
Oh, absolutely. That's not a name you ignore.
Exactly.
The other thing is, man, this song is trying so hard to be Star Trek Voyager's theme music.
I would say it only goes halfway there, because the other half is kind of a hero music, like what I colloquially call with my brother fireman music, because it's a very weird big hero saving the days, and the likes. It's halfway between that and space opera, I feel, and thus barely dodges for me the really trying to be a Deep Space Nine's opening.
Really? You went with DS9? This sounded way more like Voyager than DS9 to me, but maybe I was getting my wires crossed.
I got mine crossed. I mean, I haven't watched Voyager, so that doesn't help as well.
You know, I didn't think I would be lost on the episode where I designed the playlist, but here we are.
I feel like that's probably the most music arcade thing that we have said in a while.
Yeah. If you can tell, I am not a Trekkie, not because I actively dislike, I just never had the opportunity to watch it growing up.
Turns out, as someone who got into it relatively recently, still holds up, still good.
I'm a lifelong Star Trek fan, and some are better than others. Voyager is kind of low tier for me, but not like awful. I know some people hate Voyager. I didn't. I just thought it was fine.
my only exposure has been the video game Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, Elite Squad. Something
Yeah,
like
that was the squad-based first-person shooter, right?
Yeah.
They had like most of the actual cast in there, which back in those days that was not common for licensed properties. So
no, it wasn't, but it was a fun game.
I've only played a very little bit of it, but
some people don't like it because it's more about combat than exploration. When Star Trek is the opposite, but that's beside the point.
it's a video game. There's only so much you can do at that point.
It is indeed beside the point.
Yeah. But going back to Destiny.
Yep.
So this track is basically the main motif for the Guardian being used over and over in slightly different ways. The main motif being the ta 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 ta.
Very
And
distinct, very recognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you hear that a lot in the franchise.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah.
it works. It does the job. It does the assignment very well.
I think it goes a bit beyond that, to be honest, because to me, in my mind, it kind of invokes the image of the sun rising, and the whole thing about the Guardian in Destiny is that you rise again from the dead thanks to the light. There's a reason there's an in-universe holiday called the Dawning. And this
unlikely that the next track is named the way it's named.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. So the light is one of two, let's say, supernatural forces that the Guardians can wield, and for most of Destiny's lifespan, it was just the light. They would eventually learn to touch on the darkness, but it used to be just the light in 3 different subclasses.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of dawn, the dawn, and dawning in general is kind of a central theme of the Guardian, the rising. Eyes up, Guardian is the first line you would hear in Destiny 1 as you started the campaign, and it's become a catchphrase for your companion Ghost throughout the franchise, as well as other people often say that to you when they're telling you to pay attention to something. It's always eyes up, Guardian.
I see.
So there's always this element of, rising up,
Emergence.
dawn, emergence. That's a good word for it. So I think it's So I think it does more than just its assignment of being memorable and being the theme for the Guardian. It also works as this audio version of this theme of dawning and rising up.
Yeah, like when you have those shots of planets seen from afar with the sun peeking out halfway through.
Yeah,
However,
kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey with the scene with the spokes out of Thusra.
Yeah. Now, you know what is very funny about the theme of dawning?
Go on.
In the acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, it turns out that all the expansions are in fact themed after times of the day, with A Realm Reborn centered around a new dawn from the world, Heavensward being the clear skies of the mountainous area you are in. Then we have the dusk and the shades of war from Stormblood, the deepest night in Shadowbringers, eventually rising to the new dawn of Endwalker. So that's a fun parallel.
I'm going to propose a second tagline for the podcast. Music Arcade, it's always FF14.
Even when you do it, it's still FF14. You just don't know it yet.
FF14 finds a way. I did learn the other day that Far Edge of Fate was also a FF14 thing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now we have Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate.
Also, the next expansion for Magic the Gathering is named Edge of Eternities, so we're still in that wheelhouse. Then again, it's a space set, so that makes even more sense.
Wasn't Edge of Eternity that really, really weird
No,
Triace
that's
game?
End of Eternity.
End of Eternity.
Also known as Resonance of Fate outside of Japan.
That's that. I'm like, did I ever play that one? Yeah, okay. Right, the name change. I remember that now. Okay.
Yeah.
I am hearing so many names that are new to me right now.
Well, when we talk about the next song, you're going to hear a name that I know for a fact you know. So.
Well, let's talk about it then. We jump from Guardian in Destiny 1 to Inner Light in Destiny 2.
Man, they really like their cellos, don't they?
That they do. They like their strings and their brass, I'd say. But yeah, I haven't been able to play this campaign. I started playing Destiny when this campaign was sunset, sadly. But from what I understand, this theme plays in the Destiny 2 campaign when your character, the Guardian, regains their powers after having lost at the start of the campaign, hence Inner Light, and hence why it has a bit of a victorious, glorious usage of the Guardian's motif, because it's their powers coming back and them becoming the hero again.
Yeah, and I really like the pace for some parts of the song. Like, I was worried at first because it felt, compared to Guardian, a bit samey, just a little theme that was cheeky about reprising the main theme. But no, after the change pace, like 1 minute in, this really hits the road without going too fast. The pace is just impeccable. It's heroic, there's the vibe, there's the choirs, and it's still keeping it a character theme in its ethos of sorts. It's very nice. And then they changed the pace again multiple times, and I'm starting to wonder if, like, it's a situation where the film adapts to what you do, or if it's a cutscene narration kind of track.
Yeah, that's a problem I had with, honestly, this entire soundtrack, is a lot of it sounded like several songs kind of stapled together and probably cut up by the audio editor for use in the game itself.
Yeah, some of the songs I can say where they are used, like the previous one. I know that's the title theme. It plays, when you boot up the game.
And I will say the end of Inner Light goes, it feels 100% like a trailer theme.
Yeah, Destiny, when it comes to like cutscenes, it has a mix of cinematics and things that happen in engine at the time.
Checks out.
And since I didn't play when this happened, I don't know exactly how it went, but it's possible it was a cutscene in engine that moved directly into an action sequence where you're being this hero having a moment of glory and action. So maybe that's what happens in the song. Maybe it's meant to sync to that. Again, since they sunset this early Destiny 2 content, I sadly am among the vast numbers of players who cannot experience this, and that is a decision that hasn't endeared the Bungie to the fans.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah. I'm you know me in game preservation. I would not be happy with that decision either.
It's like killing games is bad.
Yeah, isn't it? Okay, so confession time.
Yes.
I listened to the song several times, and I realized it reminded me the specific phrasing. Da 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 da. That specific phrase, I'm like, I've heard this before. I know I've heard this before. Where have I heard this before? And then I realize I'm hearing lyrics in my head, and those lyrics sound like a singer by the name of Dustin Bates. Eddie, you should know that name, or if you don't, you definitely know the band Starset.
Oh yeah. No, I was waiting on your cue, to be honest, because the name, yep.
Yeah. Literally, this is Telescope by Starset. This is just an orchestral version of Telescope by Starset. I listened to them back to back. Telescope off of their first album, Transmissions. It's the same melody line.
I'll be honest, I haven't listened to that one yet, I don't think.
I don't particularly like. I'm a big fan of their second album. Their first album's like good. It's got good songs on there. This particular song, the only reason I would even think of it is I tend to listen to their whole discography as a single set list, a single playlist. So it comes up, and if there's one thing I've learned about them is these guys can write a hook. So their stuff gets stuck in your head good. All the way back then too. And Telescope is one of them, and it's the same melody line.
Wouldn't be surprised if it was influenced.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the release dates. The album came out in 2014, and Destiny 2 came out in 2017. So it's possible there was an influence there.
It is possible. I mean, it's also possible this is a total coincidence, but this isn't the first time we've linked Starset and Destiny, because Brave New World, your first reaction to this is, man, this is just really Destiny, isn't it?
Yep.
So I can't help but wonder if there is some cross-contamination there.
Yeah, maybe, like, could be a case of both sides enjoying one another, or maybe both drawing from the same source of inspiration.
Yeah. Certainly it's nothing like Starset's relationship with Arknights. There's no evidence of that, but I could definitely see both of those possibilities being true.
Yeah, I'll have to check out the Starset track to compare after the episode, because that the early material isn't something that I listen to very much, so I'm not familiar with that one. But yeah, so as for Inner Light, since this is a guided exploration of their uses of motifs, this is a more glorious, like I said, more heroic use of the Guardian motif.
Yeah.
Which appears in many different ways, and another way is coming next.
Guardian down.
Yeah,
I just read that title and hear it in a talkie-walkie voice.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we hear the words Guardian down most of the time. It's Ghost saying that. So for context, the phrase Guardian down doesn't really have too much to do directly with where this plays, except the fact that a Guardian dies. But the phrase Guardian down has been there since the beginning of the game, and it's what you hear when a member of your team has died in a dungeon or raid or whatever.
Checks out.
To let you know that you might need to resurrect them. But at this actual song, Guardian Down, it plays in the Forsaken expansion, where a fan favorite Guardian dies for good. That's Cade. He was the Hunter Vanguard, or the leader of the Hunter class. And a key story point, key story beat, let's say, is his death. And this campaign I actually got to play.
Okay, good.
This plays pretty much as a funeral march, as his coffin is carried. So
that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
you can kind of hear in the song that it feels like the string section is having trouble conjuring the energy to play the Guardian theme, but they are trying.
Yeah, there's that, like, it's dancing around the core of that theme a lot without quite reaching that. There's something that's a bit not disorganized, but yeah, there's definitely something that is wrong in a way that's intentional. It's very much a downer of a track, even though it still has very distinct movement. It's not just chaotic. It's not like three bored guys going whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. But yeah, it's
Destiny.
It's a bit more subtle of a way to be mournful. I like it.
Yeah, Destiny almost always goes for very highly orchestrated soundtracks. They could very easily have done something very traditional
Yeah.
Very typical dirge.
Very hero's funeral and the like.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is. It's just a bunch of people looking at that situation and going, man, this sucks.
And the story also plays it, as an aside, plays it really well too, because your character goes on what TV tropes would call a roaring rampage of revenge.
Of course.
But you do that against the orders of your superiors. It's just that your character is so angry that a person you liked so much was killed that you have to kill his killers in response.
So remind me, Forsaken was the first expansion, right?
Nope.
No.
Forsaken was the third, I believe, for Destiny 2.
Well, there goes my parallel with Heavensward then.
Oops. Yeah, turns out this one's Stormblood.
So, Destiny 1 had 2 expansions, if I recall correctly. Then Destiny 2 had 2 minor expansions, and then Forsaken as a bigger one after them.
They're cheating. They're putting out expansions of different sizes.
That's the only reason why your prediction didn't work out.
Exactly.
But yeah, this expansion was also kind of the moment where the whole saga of light versus darkness started to become a really strong thing. The next expansion after it, Shadowkeep, was actually the one where you actually get to meet the villain for the first time, the actual big bad. But Forsaken set the pieces in motion, let's say.
I see.
And one of those pieces was killing one of the leaders of the hero faction.
Gotta love some long-term storytelling that actually goes places.
Oh yeah. This one it's pretty interesting just how far some things were planned for Destiny. It's very interesting when you see it back.
It's always good when they have a plan for the story.
Especially because once you get there, you can go back and see the elements that were put there unless they were taken out of the game.
I feel like you were mentioning something specific that I feel like I'm
What we talked about with Inlight.
Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. Please keep your content in the game. I think FF14 has done a very, very good job of letting us play everything except the thing they explicitly deleted.
Yeah, which is a shame we can enjoy that again. I'm going to say it.
Yeah,
the fact it's not the best content doesn't change the fact that it was an element they built on.
Yeah, no, I
forcing you to go through it, no. Letting you go through it, yes.
You know what?
That's my
fair.
stance.
That's fair. That's a good one.
Thankfully, that seems to be the current approach that Bungie is taking.
Good.
They have explicitly said they won't sunset stuff anymore. And apparently seasons now won't be like sub-releases in the middle of an expansion. They just refer to the theme of the content being released in that expansion cycle now. So hopefully we don't get sunset things anymore.
I mean, when you think about it, what is more antithetic to the Guardian's theme of dawning than sunsetting something?
Well done.
Thank you.
I kind of hate that I didn't think of that earlier, because that is a comment made in the Destiny community. Not too often, but often enough that I've heard it.
I'll fit right in.
So, we just went through a few uses of the heroes theme. So how about the big bads theme, for the first saga at least? So the big villain was just the darkness. Eventually it got called the voice in the darkness. And eventually we will get the name the witness. To be honest, I don't think we know still to this day why the name is the witness, but anyway.
Yeah.
So their motif can usually come up in two different ways. One is with a synth, which I think it's just a single note press, but they're bending the pitch to form the entire melody, which sounds unnatural and unnaturally smooth, much like the whole aesthetic of this character. And the second form this motif can show up is usually as brass instruments to showcase the villain's angry side. Because this villain is actually an amalgam of probably millions of people, because it's an entire species just bundled together as a single character.
So it's the Flood again.
So
the Bungies copied themselves.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, this character's personality varies a lot. Like, especially in Lightfall and Final Shape, you see the Witness going from very calm and collected to extremely angry in just a split second. And the fact that it's a collective of multiple people kind of explains that, and also kind of explains why its theme varies such a lot.
Because
quite a bit.
We're starting with this theme with something spooky, but the main takeaway after the start, and especially towards the end, was a feeling of being trapped between multiple threats. Like on one side, there's some sort of hunter-seeker drone trained to scan your position, and on the other side, there's some sort of blooming big killer robot. And turns out, find yourself a villain that can do both.
Yeah, pretty much. The pronouns are it and its because it's an amalgam, but it also is the grand controller, let's say, of a huge fleet of black pyramid shaped ships. But the first song actually plays when we are first introduced to the character as the voice in the darkness. It's titled Salvation from the Shadowkeep expansion. And here we hear the theme in the synth version, which is a very unnatural.
I'm trying so hard to be Dead Space right now.
A little bit.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
But yeah, not really. Admittedly, I haven't listened to the Dead Space soundtrack that closely, but I can see the resemblance.
It's the same energy, yeah.
But this track Salvation actually plays in a cutscene where you meet the character, but the witness isn't taking its own shape. It's reflecting your own. So you're looking at yourself, but it's also the villain interacting with you, and it's promising you salvation. You don't know from what. It's not explaining. It's just...
I assume it's something like the burden of existence.
It's possible. I think the lore of the witness is really, really long and complex, to be honest. And the whole thing is that it recruits disciples, which are effectively the witness's lieutenants in this conflict. But there is a lore entry where one of the witness's disciples notes that each disciple receives a different explanation of what the final shape is. So the witness is probably lying to every one of them just in order to have a strong enough force to enforce their vision of the final shape on the universe.
Turns out, when you're 10 million-faced, being two-faced is pretty easy.
That's a fair assessment. I would like to mildly be annoyed about the album cover for a moment, because the cover art just says Shadowkeep, and when you don't realize that's an expansion and there's a song later in the playlist called Shadowkeep, I thought this was Shadowkeep for a hot minute and was very confused. So I'm going to say that between the album cover and the formatting on YouTube, they do not do a very good job indicating what song this is at a glance, and I find that rather problematic.
I got caught for like half a second as well.
Yeah, I think YouTube makes it a lot worse. The YouTube UI is particularly bad for albums.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not even denying that it was a combination of a lot of factors, but
yeah,
this is the very smooth version of the Witness's motif, Salvation. Now we go to Unveiled, which is a more heavy version of his motif. It's more angry.
I like this one.
Which is the version with the brass, which is you can hear the notes being very defined. It's not a dun, it's a dun 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 this time. In fact, this song Unveiled, I think it's a really neat representation of the Witness's influence. This comes from Beyond Light, and it's one of the themes that play when you are, we call it in orbit. It's when you're not at any planet or any activity, you're just floating in air, presumably looking into your inventory or something, and the screen shows you in orbit around whatever was the previous destination you were at, hence in orbit. So each expansion tends to add one or two new themes to the orbit screen. This was added with Beyond Light. And during Beyond Light, the Witness has basically taken over the solar system and is coming very close to Earth, which is where the Traveler is. The Traveler being the force of light that it's trying to destroy.
Nice.
At least we think it's trying to destroy. We eventually learn it's more complicated than that. So, to me at least, the song uses the synths not as the Witness's motif. They're playing a different melody, but they're still representing the calm, smooth, and distant influence of the Witness, while the brass is pretty much being a showcase of the Witness's power through the Pyramid Fleet, the Black Fleet, as the fleet is taking over the entire solar system.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's got a lot of elements that worked very well together. Galen said he liked this track. I almost really love it. Because, like, you're starting with that, what I described as a wavy womp womp sound. Then moving on to the big brass that also feel very heavy. Then we have the piano played on the extreme left side. And it all helps building this heavy vibe where the theme goes extremely deep, but without going loud, which I feel was a very great balancing point until the end of the track where they actually go loud as well, and I was like, you had something, but then you get a bit greedy.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have noticed about this entire, I don't want to say the entire album, but the collection of songs in particular. Not one of them can end worth a damn.
Yeah, the endings the line that well, but that's all the more annoying that when it goes to, the hooks are pretty reasonable, the middles are extremely strong overall, and then it ends in a way that kind of diminishes some of what they built up.
Speaking as someone who loves the Destiny soundtrack, I get that the thing about the endings.
Excellent.
It does. I think sometimes it fits better in game because usually the songs are ending as the activity you're playing is ending. And so at the end of activities, you also get a bit of dialogue pretty much every time with rare exceptions. where
Well, if it's
people
part of the fade out, like you do an activity and while you move into the loading screen, you have the final phrase of the song, then it's a great use to kind of take you out of it.
This song isn't that. This song, like I said, it plays when you're in orbit. You're just floating there. So either it gets loud to get your attention and make sure you didn't leave the console on, or it's, I guess, a mistake. But yeah, the thing with endings, it's sometimes I would say it's justifiable. Sometimes it's just weird. And in this instance, it's just weird.
Fair enough. But aside from that little ending, the rest is very solid in what it's trying to do. And yes, it manages to kind of keep the idea of the threat present even while you're just in orbit doing your thing. Almost like it's saying, you may be safe now, but don't relax.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much the vibe the game was going for like 3 expansions in a row.
How relatable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we've talked about the hero's theme and the villain's theme, and what about when they clash?
What about when they clash?
Yeah, this is from the raid from Lightfall. The raid's called Root of Nightmares. The context here is that this is the theme for the final boss of this raid.
Mm-hmm.
And the final boss of this raid is one of the disciples that I mentioned.
Okay.
The witness's disciples. And what happens here is that the traveler tries to fire a beam of pure light to stop the witness, but it can't. It does nothing. And right behind the witness is the witness's ship, his flagship. And inside his flagship, for some reason, he has the head of Nezarec, one of his disciples, the god of pain, as he's often called.
Mm-hmm.
He also affects nightmares. He shows up in nightmares and drives people insane.
That's the title of the song.
Yes, the title translates to fear of dreaming, I believe.
Indeed.
But a side effect of the light of the traveler is that the traveler is an eternal life giver. So it is accidentally bringing Nezarec back to life.
Ah.
And so the clash between light and darkness here. You can hear very early on in this track the witness's theme. First as the horn version, which showcases like Nezarec's strength and size, and this dude is a immediate threat. He's directly in front of you. This is one of the boss encounters in Destiny where even during the damage phase, the boss is still walking around the arena. There's no step where everything is just in peace. You can just sit down. People found a way because they managed to exploit the geometry of the arena. But in theory, yeah.
Destiny players and exploiting geometry of the arena, name a more iconic duo.
Pretty much.
I will be honest, this song and I have kind of an acrimonious relationship. It doesn't feel like it goes anywhere.
It doesn't feel like it goes anywhere, and it's why I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's in my top 3, and we haven't done 2 and 1 yet. But it's a lot. It goes seamlessly from trailer music to Metal Gear theme to untheme for the main characters, moving on and on without any clear transition point you can point at and go, this is where it moves, and it's all very smooth.
I want to say thank you for saying Metal Gear, because that was what was in my head. Like, it sounds like something and I can't tell what. That's what. Thank you. Anyway, continue.
That's absolutely what. And my point is that it ties into this dreamy nature of the sequence, as far as I'm concerned, to represent a sort of constant change that you can't really stop, because it's like you're trying to grasp at a perfectly round sphere and there's nowhere to place your hands on.
I think it also
it's
plays
trying to do something and it's consistent throughout in its inconsistency, which is notable in this soundtrack.
I think it also plays well with the visuals, because this is like a lot of people dislike it. Yeah, a lot of people dislike this raid because it's mechanically very simplistic. It's basically one or two mechanics that repeat themselves. Usually, Destiny raid mechanics are very heavily involved.
When they are.
Yep. You've seen some of the diagrams.
Yes.
This one is mechanically very simplistic, but the scenery is very, very alien, because you are in this huge pyramid ship of the Witness, but everything around you is just alien growth from the Light of the Traveler, which is Life Giver. And as you go through the raid, you're basically expanding the light through the pyramid, and so things are growing more and more and more. In fact, Nazarek himself, you can see in the distance his body growing as part of the scenery of the skybox.
It's like someone needs to tell the Traveler, stop killing the boss.
Although the Traveler is out of commission at this point. At this point, the Witness won, and the Traveler is basically in a coma.
Then.
It's just we screwing things further up.
Excellent.
Until we kill the bad guy, then it's okay. But yeah, this is also one of those tracks where the ending, I'd say, is justifiable, because it ends. It kind of fades out, and there's dialogue playing over it. So I think it's a situation where, in context, the ending works.
Yeah.
Listening in a vacuum, it's weird too.
Yeah, that's all right. This is where I get hated by Eddie for all eternity.
Oh boy.
I have, for the longest time, tried to avoid a certain word in regards to this show, mostly because I find it reductive. That said, I can't help but listen to this and think it sounds generic.
Ooh.
Yeah. It literally, like, this is the same music team as Halo, and it feels like it should be the big theme, but it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't feel like anything. You say it's smooth transitions. I say it's just sort of there. Like, nothing about this song clicks with me at all. I've listened to it like 4 times now, and I'm just like, what are they trying to accomplish here? I don't even think it makes good boss music, and it sounds like this is in part boss music, right? Like, from what you described?
It is entirely boss music, yes.
Entirely, but I got nothing on this one. I think it sounds like a parody of what Bungie used to do back in the Halo days. Not even a parody, just a shallow imitation. I don't know. This particular song just made me so angry.
How strange. Because, like, we agree on what the song is, but it feels like you're annoyed at it while I go, oh, hey, that sounds deliberate. That's interesting.
Yeah.
At least it shows our ears are working right.
Yes, if not our brains, definitely our ears.
You want to hear the most bizarre part?
Please.
Oh, please.
I'm right in the middle where I don't know whether this was intentional or not.
Of
Because
course.
this is from Lightfall was the expansion that they rushed because they realized they needed to explain some stuff before the final shape.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lightfall originally was meant to be what Final Shape was.
Oh, this is so funny as an aside, because in Genshin Impact, we are about to enter the exact same situation, because apparently we were about to go to the last nation of the world, but then between some things they heard and feedback, it appears they were like, wow, we put subtle elements of the big plot in the background and almost nobody picked up on it. I guess we add in an additional arc to spell it all out.
Okay, well, I mean, we're expecting Hoyo fans to to understand subtlety and nuance. That's a bridge too far, I think.
I know, right?
Sorry, I feel bad making that joke, but man, some of the fan takes from those games have been entertaining to watch.
Oh yeah, like, I don't think I would stick to it so much if I wasn't in a very lore-centric community that actually does pay attention to those kind of stuff, and thus is fully armed to mock everyone else.
Right.
I'm just gonna note that last episode I was caught in the crossfire when Rana put a flamethrower to the Lies of P soundtrack, and now I'm caught in the crossfire as Galen put a flamethrower to the Hoyo fan base. I'm like, oh boy, I'm just in the wrong place at the wrong time, every time.
Well, these soundtracks are fire, one way or another.
I need to find an episode for me to wield the flamethrower now.
I'm sure we can figure something out.
We'll find one.
But for now...
Life and fire find a way.
Indeed. But for now, how about we move on to the last arc?
So we just talked about the hero's theme, the villain's theme. Now let's talk about a theme that's actually diegetic. I've touched on this one once before on the podcast.
Wait, this is diegetic?
Kind of. The melody itself is diegetic. The songs are not. So this is the theme for Savathün, or the Witch Queen. She is the hive god of deception. The bass melody goes dun 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 dun. That's pretty much it. I mentioned that her motif is diegetic because there's lore. There have been situations where characters have sung her song in the game, and there's lore that states that her song is basically a spell that makes her invisible, since she's the queen of deception and of plotting.
Right.
And so it allows her to do her work, let's say, without people noticing. But the song is kind of viral, so it stuck in their head. But they don't know where it came from. They don't realize she was there.
Cough, Battlestar Galactica, cough.
I have a friend who's a fan of both Battlestar Galactica and Destiny, and I believe he has mentioned that.
Yeah. I mean, it's either that parallel or the one from Doctor Who that comes to mind, where the Master, one of the antagonists, has a beating drums of war in his head constantly that turns out is the alternating pulses of the 4 hearts of his species.
2 hearts.
2?
4 beats, 2 hearts.
I see.
Yeah, I've watched those episodes.
Isn't that Doctor? Wait, hang on. And we're back to Doctor Who.
That's Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what the? Well, how did we get here? Okay, great.
I was moving from, like I was saying, it could be either that or the Master, Doctor Who, blah blah blah.
Okay, got it. My brain didn't quite receive that information somehow.
Hey, at least you caught up.
I did get there eventually.
We are on the same page.
Excellent.
But a funny little aside from about Savathün's theme here, Savathün's song, is that there was one specific season that I wasn't playing, but a lot of characters were humming her song because she was all over the last city and manipulating every guardian in the city. And so one of the characters has the melody stuck in his head, but the song has no lyrics. So he makes up lyrics and he sings I'm on the moon, it's made of cheese. That guy is also the commentator on the PvP matches.
What a hero.
He's also the loudest character in the game. He yells a lot as a commentator. He's great. His dialogue is perfect.
I love it. Like, this kind of says something about the power of not just fighting back the hard way or trying to ignore and endure, but also to deride as something powerful you can do.
Oh yeah. There's some very interesting things you can do, especially when you integrate the music with the lore, I'd say, which is something I wish more games would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for Savathün, we've known about Savathün since Destiny 1, but she wouldn't appear until the Beyond Light expansion. But before the Beyond Light expansion would come up, in Shadowkeep, the previous expansion, the one right before it, she was secretly the one behind the entire plot of that expansion without us knowing.
Ooh.
And that is something people only realized a year later during Beyond Light when they went back, listened to the soundtrack and went, wait a minute, everything here is Savathün's song.
Now, Shadowkeep was the one you said was like heading into this, like this was the filler expansion, question mark, or did I mess that up?
No, Shadowkeep was basically where the God, what's the storytelling term for it? It's the Christ, not the apex, the climax.
Okay.
Sort of the beginning of the climax of the saga. It's Shadowkeep. It would have been Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, and Lightfall, but Lightfall was the sort of filler became the filler expansion. So Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Lightfall, and Final Shape were the climax.
Lightfall was the filler arc.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I got slightly mixed up.
Right, so Shadowbringer's patch story, Endwalker's patch story.
Meanwhile, I'm listening to this and thinking, I can't help but see the name and not immediately go to Who Brings Shadow, so that guitar line got into my head immediately.
Yeah, of course.
FF14 every day.
To be clear, I am perfectly conscious I am currently being the worst. I do not apologize, however.
No, there's no apologies to be made here.
I would find it very weird if you were apologizing.
Excellent.
I was willing to apologize for calling another song generic. I'm not willing to compromise for saying this is a familiar term to me.
I mean, we draw the parallels we like. And speaking of parallels, this spooky vibe, like, there was a scary theme in Salvation already. This is a different kind of scary theme. It has more of a Resident Evil vibe to it, until it goes all main theme on you, of course.
Yeah, so this is also title track when you boot up the game.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, during Shadowkeep, this was the title track.
I see.
And the thing about this expansion is, first of all, it's set on the Earth's moon. And if there's one thing that every Destiny fan knows, is that moon's haunted.
And made of cheese.
Of course. But yeah, every single time the
nothing worse than haunted cheese.
Yeah.
You can't have that. Terrible on the guts.
Yeah.
And the rates of the cheese ghost hunters are horrendous.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, there was a plot here some time ago, but I think we lost it. But yeah, the moon is basically a sort of proxy base for one of the main villain factions, which is the Hive. And the Hive, they are humanoid, but they are inspired by insects.
Of course.
And they're very unnatural. And they are practitioners of the sword logic, where for them, strength is the only way to prove you're worthy of living. And each member of the Hive showcases that in a different way. And their moon base is underground, so
I see.
dark. And during Shadowkeep, they become active again after a lot of time inactive. Last time the moon was a place you could visit prior to Shadowkeep was in Destiny 1. So took a lot of years for the Hive on the moon to become active again.
It's good to be back.
Know. It is. It's honestly this was the expansion where I joined the fan base. It was my first expansion in the game. And the moon it's a cool place to visit in Destiny, in my opinion. But it has some places that are very, very ominous, very dark, very alien, and there's also that fear that it's extremely close to home. It's literally the moon. It's not even another planet in the solar system. It's directly above us. And we don't know why these people, these aliens, these creatures are acting up. We killed their father in the previous time we were here in Destiny 1. So why are his daughters acting up all of a sudden?
I wonder.
Makes sense.
Is it because they got a taste for music recently?
You could say that.
I see.
Yeah. In Shadowkeep, the song isn't explained as being diegetic. The song is not explained until the previous the following expansion in one of the seasons. So at the time, this place, we don't know this is Savathün. To us, this is these expansions leitmotif, because every expansion has a leitmotif, pretty much, in Destiny.
Checks out.
So to us, that's just this expansion's leitmotif, and it sounds interesting. But yeah, since it's an unknown force doing chaotic things, the sound is very ominous because we don't know our enemy. We think we know, but we don't really. And I think it works really well in creating a horror theme that works in the framework of Destiny's style of science fantasy.
Absolutely.
And to follow that up, we have an even more hectic and even more horror adjacent version of the motif in Escape the Abyss, which plays in one of the missions from the Shadowkeep campaign, where you think things will go one way, but they do not. And there is a lot of Hive running after you to murder you to death in the underground.
That's what it sounds like for sure. Like the motif used with this discordant guitar and then other instrument just completely out of tune works really well for a complete sense of panic. In a way, like, the thing that almost annoys me the most is how much the percussions in comparison feel utilitarian and not really part of the song, just supporting the whole mess that's happening on top of the foundation they lay. Because the percussions are consistent and the instruments on top of that, they're just doing the thing and having a bad time. And I say that, to be clear, as a way to say that this is my second favorite track. Or maybe favorite. I'm not sure. In the top 3 for sure.
Got it. Thank you. So this song stood out to me because it's the first song by the Halo composer team that actually has a guitar line. And it's a very brief one, and then it just turns into a demon carnival. I don't know what's going on here. This song confuses me. It's not bad, but it confuses me.
Feel like it's doing its job, then.
If that is its intent, then it succeeded, and I have a respect for this that I did not have before that conversation.
Yeah, because of the whole panic situation, Hive going everywhere. It, like a lot of the other themes were more story points, and you've mentioned this one is an action sequence, so makes sense that this one is more immersive in a way.
Yeah, to if you want to have the full picture, you are in the dark. The only light is it's coming from your ghost, but it's effectively like a flashlight in other games, in more grounded games.
Even though we are
Uh,
not beyond light, am I right?
you are right. Yes. But yeah, it's everything is dark. The only area illuminated is either directly around you, like a feet of distance at most, or where your camera is directly pointing at, as if you had a flashlight. You are there to grab an alien artifact, a hive artifact, and once you get it, all hell breaks loose, and you can't contact the person who's guiding you through this mission, and everything is chaos, and you need to run for your life. That's where you hear this. So I feel like the feeling of disorientation is probably on purpose.
Yeah, because it's not just that you're running away and everything is exploding. You're running away, everything is exploding, and you are in a maze made of Swiss cheese.
Oh God. Why did I mention that?
No, I mean, really, in the way it's very full of holes that could go anywhere.
And holes where the hive come crawling out of as well.
Exactly.
And also, as
which
an aside,
has no relation to the flood, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, as an aside, the villains of this expansion are the daughters, or technically, they are in the lineage of the Taken King, the old god of exploration and then of taking, which is basically turning people into slaves or creating slaves for himself.
So they're all Godric the Grafted. Got it.
Yeah, kind of.
I was more thinking colonization embodiment.
That as well. There's a bit of that in the lore as well. But they're not acting the way they should, because they're headless. Their grandfather was this god of exploration, this Taken King. He's dead. His son, also dead. Suddenly they are acting up. Later we would learn it's because the Queen of Deception was messing with them, but right now we don't know. So yes, everything is chaos, and I think chaos was the intended message here in the song.
I hate it when I'm trying to enslave a population, but then the Queen of Deception messes with me. Mondays, am I right?
Oof.
Which isn't today Sunday? Wait.
It is.
Please don't enslave Brazil tomorrow.
Help.
So, moving along.
Yes, let's.
A third use of Savathün's theme comes from the Witch Queen expansion.
And surprisingly.
That's tracks,
yeah. Titled The Witch Queen, the song as well. It's, of course, the title track for the expansion. And there are two key things that have happened here that make her theme so much louder and brass heavy in this version compared to the others. First of all is more or less the obvious. We are in her domain in this expansion.
Right.
She controls everything we see. She is this realm we are in. Everything is her, so of course her song would be louder.
At least you can't miss wherever you shoot.
Yeah, and the second thing that has happened is she has died, and for the first time, a non-human has become a light bearer, as they are calling the game, a user of light. She became basically a high version of a guardian, which up to this point was thought to be utterly impossible because the Hive were sort of darkness engineered. They were an attempt by the Witness to create a species that would follow him. And so there's an element of it being more grandiose because now
Yeah.
she wields the light. She is the hero in her story. But there's also the element of horror of she is the walls. It's not like the walls can hear us. She is the walls. We are in a what the lore calls a throne world, which is not a planet. It's just a pocket dimension that people with particularly strong powers can create with the right rituals. And they control everything in those pocket dimensions.
Good old D&D demiplanes.
Yeah, kind of.
But yeah, it's like the one word that stands out for this track as a whole is Doom. Not the game, just the notion.
I actually said, I don't remember whether it was in this part of the notes or another one. I think it was actually during the Escape the Abyss. It's like, man, I wonder what the Mick Gordon version of this would sound like.
Ooh. I mean, to be fair,
that
that's
would
a
be
good
amazing.
question to ask for most songs.
That is true. The Witch Queen, I hate this song. I despise it. There's some rising action that almost gets somewhere, it almost goes somewhere, and my final question is, what if Lower Norfair didn't have any of its cool melody? That's what this song is asking. It's a whole album sounds like trailer music. I got angry at this one.
Really, wasn't my favorite, but I
see it.
found it relatively inoffensive. Like, it's just big and ominous.
Big is
I
its
think
entire
the-
personality. Please have more personality than big.
Yeah, I think the main issue for this song is more that it's the title track. I didn't want to bog down with like multiple songs from this expansion because her motif is also the motif for this expansion.
I
So
see.
of course there's a ton of songs with Savathün's song for the Witch Queen
I think I'm
expansion.
learning that this composer team just doesn't do good on title tracks, because I think I've hated every actual title track. Except the first one, and that's only because it reminded me of Star Trek Voyager. I don't know what's going on here, if this
Not
is a
an
me
episode
problem.
takeaway, honestly.
Because it seems like my
I-
biggest complaints have always been the title tracks.
Well, that and the one raid song I brought up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
somehow I thought that was a title
Oneirophobia.
track too. Go
Nope,
my brain,
Oneirophobia
cheers.
wasn't a title track.
This is sort of a case where I kind of didn't know what song to pick because the songs within the expansion itself here each kind of represent different elements of Savathün's personality in a
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
You have some songs that are calmer and like they sort of feel almost holy in a way, and that's because you are in very light, heavy places, and so it's clearly representing her as a wielder of the light. You have other examples that are darker. You have a lot of examples of the witnesses motif in
I
this
see, I
expansion as
see.
well, because this is the first expansion where we actually see the witness. So yeah,
But yeah, I
the-
can definitely see the argument for hearing the song and going, we understand you are a villain because of the black armor, the flames, and the spikes. You don't need the skulls and the neon signs pointing at you, blinking villain in big bold letters.
Yeah.
funny thing is that she's actually clad in white.
Yeah, of course, because she's been invested in the light in a way that's anomalous.
She was always, even before this, she was kind of she wasn't as light, but for a member of the Hive, she was lighter than most other Hive characters, and
Mhm.
her visuals are themed after a moth. I don't remember the exact species, but like she has moth wings, and
Neat.
the whole thing is that like she can fly around, and
Mm.
at the same time she can also enter the minds of other people and be an infiltrator in that way. Hence why everyone in the last city was humming her song one expansion earlier in the Beyond Light expansion. So yeah, she's not quite as obvious of a villain design, I'd say.
Yeah.
Aside from her crown a little bit.
Yeah, mob villains are cool. There was one in Magic as well recently that was pretty neat. I'll talk to you about that later.
Sounds like an interesting visual.
Yeah.
But yeah, if not for my fear of bogging down this episode with too many songs, I would have brought like 5 from this expansion to better showcase. This is basically my way of going. It's the core idea of the character here at this point in time. As another example of how her theme has evolved in a way, let's say.
I see.
So, with Savathün behind us, I wanted a little bit of a finale, because something that I've mentioned about the Final Shape expansion is that it kind of does the Avengers Assemble thing from Avengers Endgame, but better.
Yeah.
And you can kind of hear it in the soundtrack as well.
I actually...
Stronger Together.
I'm a little surprised at how much of the leitmotifs I did hear, considering how little this experience has actually grabbed my attention, but I remember listening to this sort of going, oh, wait, these are actually... They did stick in my brain, even if I wasn't able to consciously identify them. So I actually like this song quite a bit. I was surprised at how much I was like, oh, this is where it comes together. I get it now.
Like, in contrast to a lot of the previous soundtrack that changed or that went somewhere and then kind of stepped back, this one commits. It's full cheesy hero music with the themes coming together, and I like it for its earnestness. It feels like it goes, sometimes you're just gonna have to do the good guys going and doing the good thing.
Yeah, like sometimes you just call a spade.
Exactly.
Yeah, this so for extra context, this plays in a post-raid activity in Final Shape. Because like the raid had 6 players doing their thing to kind of make the witness vulnerable, because the witness was invulnerable. And then that unlocks, when the first team completed the raid, it's globally unlocked for all players the first 12-player activity in Destiny.
Oh. I see.
And so you have 12 players, and pretty much half of every NPC you've ever met joining to kill the witness. And pretty much whenever you hear a motif, a character related to that motif shows up to drop you a weapon or to just help in the fight on the ground.
That's cool. That sounds like a pretty great end sequence.
It is very fun. It was an incredible experience.
Like, we talked about long-term storytelling, setting up something a long time in advance and have it pay off eventually. That looks like one heck of a payoff.
Yeah, and also I like a couple little details here, that we are fighting the witness, but his motif is overpowered by everything else. Much like he is being overpowered by us and our allies. And also, you hear like half a dozen motifs, maybe more, one after the other. But the final one is the Guardian, because it always ends in your hand.
Not only that, but through the changes, there's still this main through line that gives it unity.
Yeah. So I think they did a really, really good job. And like I said, it's the Avengers Assemble scene from Endgame, but better. It's just like you're more invested in the characters. Like, not to take away from the core cast of the MCU's earlier phases, but in Destiny, like, you are invested even in Savathün, who shows up to help because she is wielding the light, so she's against this creature who's trying to destroy the universe.
Neat.
Meanwhile, in Avengers Endgame, there's a lot of characters you don't care for in the background.
Yeah, although there is something to be said for some minor characters showing up anyway. The image I have in mind is the final dungeon in the Stormblood expansion of Final Fantasy XIV, to do one last parallel, which is a big assault on a capital city you never actually enter in game. But there's a lot of barricades as you go through waves of assault to reach a key point of the fight, and you're helped as well by some larger characters and just by the united armies of the different nations you've assembled to mount this assault. And most notable of all, to the point where it was even a bit memed on, positively, was the fact that there's random it's random literally, like it's randomly chosen who helps you win different barricades in the dungeons, and one of the choices is a soldier from Ishgard, which was the nation from the previous extension you helped thoroughly, and that wasn't at all a part of the scenario, but you have this guy from Ishgard that helps you go through and just has a speech bubble above his head that says Ishgard remembers Warrior of Light. That's the kind of feel-good moment that tells you the past adventures helped build up to what comes next.
Yeah, I'd say that like it doesn't go that far into deep cuts in Destiny 2 in the final shape, but there are some characters that you don't really, I think most people didn't expect to see there, but who appeared still in some way or another.
Love when that happens.
You have some characters like one of them is Lord Shax and the other is Saladin Forge. They're basically the ones who preside over a couple PvP stuff. Shax presides over regular PvP, and Saladin Forge presides over the Iron Banner event that happens every now and then in the game.
Can I just say how funny it is that there's a character with like the most on the nose, yes, we're a science fiction property name, like Shax?
Yeah. The funny thing is he's actually one of the oldest guardians, and I think he's one of two who refused the title of guardian. He still calls himself a warlord from the dark, which is a title from the dark age of humanity. So the funny thing is that he's probably the least sci-fi character, despite his armor. But even then, he's the only character who has horns on his helmet.
Neat.
But yeah,
no cowboy hat, though.
No. There's one character who canonically wears a hat, but we don't really meet him in person in the game. We just have concept art of him. That would be Fenchurch, who is a complete weirdo in the best ways.
Excellent.
But yeah, this is basically the combination of most motifs. You get some motifs also for entire species play here, and they are, sure enough, at least part of that species is helping you out. So it's a great coming together of everything into an amazing finale. And another point where I think it surpasses Avengers Endgame is that you actually have strong audio identities for every faction, while the MCU didn't have that for each hero.
Yeah, there isn't really a lot of strong, pushed and reinforced musical identity, which makes sense given the timeline, the time they have available. It's like making one or two of those films stand out would make sense, but on that kind of scale, it doesn't seem really like it needs to be a main consideration from the start for it to work out. And it sounds like it was a consideration here, which is great.
I cannot confirm, but I can certainly say that I feel the same way as well.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's that's our quick journey through the way Destiny uses motifs. Uh, if you enjoyed this exploration, there's a lot more to check out. This was also partially motivated by something I saw when the final shape came out, where a video was recommended to me on YouTube of a group of players listening to the soundtrack in advance because it released in advance to the expansion, and they were just listening to the soundtrack while in a Discord call, playing bingo, checking down the motifs they recognized in the soundtrack.
No, that's cool.
So, shout outs to all the artists who made this possible, who made these songs, who made these themes, who made all the other themes in the soundtracks,
and who will be listed in the video video description for the YouTube version and the episode description for Spotify.
Yes. And I'm not sure how many of them are still at Bungie. Some of their work still remains. They left some stuff that has been used in the most recent expansion, but to anyone who remain, or if they're all out of Bungie, thanks for your work. Cool music is always great.
Indeed.
And with that, let's get us back to the present with Music Arcade now playing.
So, Eddie, I'm compelled to ask, are you playing anything other than Destiny?
You play Destiny?
I don't know where you've heard that I play Destiny. That's news to me.
Yeah, it's such a shocker.
So been enjoying, contrary to a lot of the doom and gloom discourse going online, I've been enjoying Edge of Fate, the latest Destiny expansion. I think it's cool.
Okay, great.
The soundtrack, it reuses Guardian as the title theme, presumably because it's the start of a new saga, like Destiny 1 was the start of the Light and Darkness saga, or maybe because they were lacking hands in the music department, if you want to be more cynical.
I think it's possible it's both.
Yeah.
It's possible it's both. I won't make claims, but it's a possibility. But yeah, the soundtrack this time doesn't really seem to have an exclusive motif for it. It uses motifs for different factions that are involved. So there's nothing like, there isn't really a sound that connects everything, but it sounds neat. It has some cool moments.
Or maybe they planted the seed for something that will become obvious in 4 years.
Or in 10, if the game survives that long, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's been a fun time. The other game I play, pretty much only other game, has been Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I have finished since the last episode. And it's a very okay soundtrack. It exists.
Wow, that Assassin's Creed soundtrack sure does exist, doesn't it?
Yeah. I do enjoy the menu theme, the menu version of the main theme, which plays when you have like inventory open or stuff like that. It sounds very Lawrence of Arabia-esque. I enjoyed that one. Everything else kind of just blends together or just sounds meh.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
I miss the quality of the soundtrack in the Ezio trilogy.
Yes, but Kid, my beloved, as well. Although he wasn't the only one working on the Ezio trilogy, I believe.
He was the only one working on the single player stuff, except for maybe some stuff in Revelations.
Oh, all right then.
He did work in Valhalla, but Valhalla was a chaos in the production department because of the pandemic.
Like that. Yeah.
So, anyway, that's it for me, really.
All right. On my end, played a fair amount of games, but a lot of those I don't have anything to talk about because, like, Peak doesn't really have music aside from a few short musical phrases.
Yup.
Nine Kings doesn't have music at all.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a roguelite sort of 5x5 city builder strategy game where you basically assemble your incremental engine of destruction as fast as possible before waves and waves of enemies eventually roll you down.
With no music? That sounds...
It has some chiptune-esque, but they're mixed kind of low, and they're very low fidelity. I guess because the graphics are low fidelity as well. But yeah, I've played that a few weeks back.
It's a fun game, but music is pretty much non-existent. I played some Magic, music not relevant there too. Played some, I started a little bit of Guild Wars 2, but I'm right at the start, so I don't have much to say yet, not even outside of the starters area. Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, we have a different avenue to talk about that. So yeah, aside from the gacha continuation, don't really have much to play, and on the gacha front, nothing really stood out to me. Although somebody, just before the episode, sent a music track from a game mode in Zenless Zone Zero that I haven't really played, and that was a very nice track. So maybe that gave me motivation to try that mode. So that's neat. But yeah, moving on, Galen.
So, I've only been playing 2 games. First, Arknights, obviously.
You play Arknights?
There it is. Yep, new event, new music. Music is good. Nothing new here.
I see. I do like the title of the track, Such is the Joy of Our Reunion. That's cool.
That's actually the title of the event, but this is Battle 2 of that. But it's a good song.
Yeah.
This is our newest. In China, it was the Lunar New Year. For us, it's now. So
yeah,
it's a lot of that motif.
Gotta love events that are warped in time because of differences with release dates.
Oh yeah, I love getting our swimsuit summer event in February.
Yeah.
It's very Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it, for sure.
Yep. I was gonna joke that I appreciate that they adapt the summer event for us in Brazil.
It's a recurring joke that it's for Australia more than anything else.
Hey, Brazil is in the south as well. Come on.
Yeah,
it's
and
for us.
At least one of the concept artists lives in Australia. So,
several of them do, which is why that's the joke.
Exactly.
I'm just making my own joke of inserting Brazil everywhere in this podcast, even though I say I'm not a patriot.
No, I get it.
You haven't even mentioned that Nine Kings was developed in Brazil.
I should have.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I think I didn't because it isn't on my list. It would feel like too much random stuff to add to your list.
The other game I've been playing is Horizon Forbidden West, which you guys may recall. I have a fairly negative opinion of Horizon Zero Dawn soundtrack. Forbidden West is way better in that I can actually confirm there is music in this game.
Oh, love to hear it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes. A couple of the battle themes are actually pretty good, and there's a lot of them they switch between, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, it's nice to see they stepped up their game there.
Yeah,
which
absolutely
seems to be a bit of a theme for Forbidden West as a whole.
Zero Dawn is a really good game, and Forbidden West is better in just about everything except the specific narrative because you can't do that plot twist a second time.
Yeah.
But
that's a bit retreading old paths.
Exactly. So they're doing something different, and it doesn't hit quite as hard, but it's still engaging. Everything else is bigger. The weapon system is massively expanded. Combat is more fluid. Hitboxes are still jank, but less jank. Free climbing makes a whole lot more sense. List, on and on and on and on and on. Basically, they improved basically everything. This game is gigantic. This is the largest non-live service game I think I have ever played.
Yeah, that checks out. Like, honestly, I've mentioned having started Guild Wars 2. One of the main reasons I haven't persisted that much with it yet is that I've finished recently FF7 Rebirth, which has these huge open maps with lots of objectives to go through and roam around, and kind of the Ubisoft open world design nature to it. And turns out Guild Wars 2, in attempting to get to a more open MMORPG concept, has done something that felt very reminiscent, with smaller objectives instead of a main quest lane to follow from quest to quest, bouncing off immediately. So that's why I was like, I'll take a rain check on that one.
Yeah,
I certainly wouldn't play a Horizon game right now, even though they always have looked really cool, and I'll probably get around to those, and the God of War as well, where it's one of those days.
I don't think I'm going to go for God of War, mostly because the older games still leave kind of a sour taste in my mouth. I understand the newer games are totally different, and that's a large part of the actual narrative, but even then, I'm just like,
yeah.
Do I want to do this? Do I want to go through these characters again? But Horizon I can highly recommend. They're
I think the characters don't want to go through with these characters again.
That tracks. That tracks.
Yeah. I actually have Horizon Zero Dawn on Steam, but I don't have the remaster, which I hear has some quality of life changes.
Yeah.
So I've been holding back on getting the upgrade first. So I'm a few months away from getting that because my computer imploded last month.
Yep.
And I'm still paying for that. But it's both Horizon games are on my backlog because backlogs.
I know, right? And if you want to check out the backlogs of episodes from Music Arcade, you can.
Oh Lord.
Thank you for your silent applause.
That's the most shameless we've been.
That's
Good job.
Pretty. I'm ending this here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, you can find the.
Yeah.
As always, you can find the descriptions and email addresses and titles. I think we just need to put a stake in this episode.
Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.
Traveler, help me.